The following is a conversation with His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada and a nuclear physicist, recorded on June 5th, 1974 in Geneva, Switzerland.
Coming back now to the West, he feels so much difficulty to still be sensitive, to have this intuition for the spiritual plane.
He says that there are like crisscrosses, like swords blocking.
So one thing is that is feeling difficulty in the material atmosphere of this. Is it the fact?
Yes.
That is good.
And
C'est bon que vous ressentez des difficultés.
trop d'informations, trop de pensées, surtout la pensée des autres qui font le blocage.
Too much thinking, do too much thinking.
Anxiety.
Too much
Not
information.
thinking, but anxiety.
Anxiété.
Ce ne sont pas les pensées elles-mêmes, mais plutôt l'anxiété qui les accompagne, qui est le problème.
Exact. Yes. That's right, because if there is no anxiety, this thought does not stay in the mind. They just pass.
This anxiety there must be when we are in a different atmosphere. Just like we heard there was a plane crash. So we are traveling by plane. So as soon as we get on the plane, that anxiety is there. So the anxiety is caused on my boarding a plane. Anxiety is caused on account of my boarding a plane. So if I do not board a plane, then that anxiety is nowhere. So anyone who is existing in this material world, there must be anxiety. There must be anxiety. Exactly the same example. That as soon as it may be a very nice plane, it doesn't matter. But I know that it is unsafe. At any moment, it can crash. Therefore there is anxiety. So similarly, so long we are in the material platform, you cannot avoid anxiety.
Yes, that's very true, because what I felt is this, when we could...
First of all, we should understand this, that we are on a platform that is called material platform. So long you remain on the material platform means the bodily concept of life. The anxiety will never be stopped. First of all, let us understand why there is anxiety. The example is given. Because I am a being of the land, artificially when I go up on a plane, on the sky, this is the cause of my anxiety. So I am a spirit being, I am a spirit soul. So long I live in material concepts of life, you cannot avoid anxiety, which is not possible. This is the problem.
Yes.
I am a spirit soul. So my natural abode for living is spiritual world. So long I am in the material world, it may be the same example, I may be on the 747 or DC-10 or 10C-10 or this or that nonsense, I must be in anxiety. So that is the problem. And what is that material problem? Material like beings, you have got this material body and you do not wish to die. The anxiety on the plane is because I may die. That means you do not wish to die. Why my anxiety? If there is plane crash, then I may die. And therefore my anxiety. If I am sure that I will not die, then where is the anxiety? The anxiety is that I do not wish to die, but death is there. So that death is there either on the plane or on the ground. You cannot avoid death. Why I cannot avoid death? Because I have got this body which is perishable. Therefore, if I want to be anxiety-less freely, I must strive for that thing by which I do not get again a body like this. Then I will be anxiety-free. Even a small bird, if he sits here, he will do like this, anxiety. You give him something to eat, but he will not dare to come near you. But he has anxiety. Then you may capture him. He knows that. Therefore, the material life means four things. We require to eat something, we want a place for sleeping, we want to gratify our senses, and we want to defend from anxiety. This is material.
And yeah, I agree completely, because I felt that when I could get a contact with the spiritual plane, I felt the protection. I felt that nothing could happen to me, no evil. As long as I was in touch with this plane, nothing could happen, because I felt I was in harmony. And when I went back, I took a plane, exactly as you say, at Colombo. I went back Colombo, and there was a storm, terrible storm, when the plane took off. And the lady said to me, was very frightened. And I was so enlightened at that time that I told him, we are protected. I am protected, so if you are beside me, you are also protected. So nothing could happen. And it was an extraordinary feeling. In French we call that providence. You know that?
Providence. Yes, that when we are in danger, we remember the providence. But when you are happy, we forget it.
Quand vous êtes en danger, vous vous rappelez la providence. Et quand tout va bien, on oublie la providence.
No, because I felt that when we reach this point, we get to
anyway,
à ce point, la providence, on la sent aussi bien.
At the time of danger, we remember providence of God. That is also good. So there is a Hindi proverb that दुख से सब हरि भजे, सुख से भजे कोई, सुख से अगर हरि भजे तो दुख कहाँ से होई. Means when one is in danger, he remembers God, and when he is in happiness, he forgets God. Therefore, if he remembers God always, then where is danger? So our business is to become God conscious. Then there will be no anxiety. So we are preaching that idea that you become God conscious. Death is there. You cannot save yourself. Either you are on the land or on the plain. Death will be there. You must be prepared for the death. But if by practicing, remembering God, even at the time of death, you continue to remember God, then life is success. Death will be there. You cannot stop that. Ante Narayana Smriti. So, if at the time of death we can remember God, then our life is successful. Therefore, before death, we shall mold our life in such a way that always thinking of God. Manmana bhavamat satatam chintantam man. Satatam chintantam man. This is life. We should always remember God. Then we must know who is God, otherwise how can I remember? If I have no idea of God, then how can I remember? So, we must know what is God. We must remember always God. We must become a devotee of God. In that way, we can save ourselves from the anxieties. Otherwise, it is not. Because a God-conscious man, he knows that I will die. Everyone will die, I will also die. But his concern is, at the time of death, I shall remember Krishna. Yes. Then his life is successful. That we cannot avoid. There must be. Takta deham. We have to give up this body. But the question is, how I shall give up this body? The cats, dogs, they also give up their body. And I will also have to give up my body. But shall I give up the body like cats and dogs, or as human being? That is the problem. Therefore, a human being should prepare himself how to give up this body. That is humanity. Krishna says, find out this verse. Janma karma me dibbam jo janati tattva tatta deham punarjanmaneti mameti.
One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode, Arjuna.
Material body means second death. As soon as you accept this material body, either human body or cat's body or dog's body or tree's body, it has end. Therefore it is said, Tapta deham, if one becomes Krishna conscious, then giving up this body, no more accepting any material. Tapta deham punarjanmane. Mame, he comes to me. And that is the solution of all anxiety. So, if you want to become anxiety-less, then we would advise you to become God-conscious. Always think of God, Krishna, then your life will be successful. Sada samudvigna dhyam asadgraha Ityatmaghatam grihanda-kupam vanangato jad harimasayata. This is the path. Yeah, so long we'll be on the platform of material existence, we cannot avoid anxiety. That is not possible. Therefore, it is the duty of everyone to give up this material world and take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That will give us relief from all anxiety. In our society, we are doing so many things, we are sending on men, we are publishing books, we are distributing, because how to become Krishna conscious. This is the only idea. Central idea is how to become Krishna conscious. So there is activity. Always. From morning 4 o'clock till night 10 o'clock, we have got full program of activities. And all these activities are meant for how to become perfectly Krishna. Yes.
I think when I was in college I studied chemistry. I think many of the scientists that I also met, they felt very alienated from their relationship with nature or with God because of their empirical approach to everything, of setting themselves apart from everything. And therefore they felt detached from the complete whole, almost as if an island floating away somewhere with no relationship.
To become detached from all material activities? No?
Well, just the observer. This is the scientist's point of view. He's just observing. And therefore he feels almost left out of it. So they want to participate. They're very attracted to it.
But he is observing himself or not? Or he is simply observing outside himself?
Bhagavad Gita says that he is observing his body, his field of activity.
No, Bhagavad Gita, I am asking.
He's observing outside of himself.
Then why doesn't he observe himself? So what I am? Am I this body? Or what I am? Why I am full of anxieties?
Vous suivez?
Oui, mais est-ce que vous êtes intéressé pour les problèmes du nucléaire ou de l'activité nucléaire? C'est pour ça que je viens?
Oui, c'est-à-dire, c'est une approche peut-être différente pour voir à quel point vous êtes abonné, vous voyez à quel point vous voyez l'utilité, mais on voit que vous êtes plutôt penché vers une recherche spirituelle.
Yeah, but actually, that's a very interesting way of approaching the problem of spirituality. See, we are learning that actually everything has some relationship with Krishna or God. So you are a physicist, if I've understood,
yes.
Nuclear physicist. So that you have a very highly specialized field of knowledge. So it would be valuable to see also what is the contact of nuclear physics with the
Spiritual physics.
Spiritual physics?
Spiritual physics.
Yes, spiritual physics can be said.
Well, I should say that the word science is misleading. The word science is generally used by the opponent of science as on a pejorative level, because they don't know what science is and they think that should be the enemy.
Let me relay it, the information, little by little. He says the word science is misleading. Generally the word science is used by people who are enemies of science to make it, to pinpoint it, that this is the enemy, so they call it science, a general word.
Exactly.
Yeah, they are misleading. They have no knowledge and they are misleading. Basic principle of knowledge, they have no idea of spiritual basic principle. They take material basic principle. Therefore, the beginning of their knowledge is wrong.
Yes.
So on the wrong platform, you may go forward more and more, but it will be dismantled because it is wrong.
What is the nuclear physicist's idea about the origins of creation?
Well,
They do not.
Nuclear physics has nothing to do with the study of creation.
Yeah, they are not.
Nuclear physics is just the study of the structure of matter.
The structure of matter?
Yes, that's how the matter is done, as long as we could observe it, and how the matter is organized. And is it possible to go in the deepest level, where we could find the smallest particles? But nothing.
That so far nuclear weapon is concerned, so there is no much credit, because it is a weapon for killing, death. Is it not? Not for that purpose?
No, nuclear physics in itself is just the pure research of knowledge. But manufacturing of weapons, that's not nuclear physics. That's just business.
What is the nuclear physics?
It's just a nuclear physics is just the search of the structure of the matter.
The structure, how matter is
How matter is done at the most elementary level.
finding the smallest particles.
And that has nothing to do with manufacturing of weapons.
So we understand the matter generates from spirit. Just like I am a small fragment of spirit, you are also a small fragment of spirit. So when I am in the womb of my mother, so my big body grows. On account of my spirit, small particle of spirit coming in the womb of my mother, the body grows. So it is evident that this body has grown because the spirit soul is there. Suppose a dead child comes out, the matter will not grow. The material body will stop growing. Therefore the conclusion is, matter grows on account of the spirit fragment. Do you agree or not?
You mean that matter grows starting from a spiritual seed, something
Yes.
like that?
Yes.
If we speak in scientific terms, there is an immaterial concept called the energy.
Yes. The spirit soul is also energy and matter is also energy. Two energies, when they contact, the so-called expansion of matter takes place.
Yes, and we could study in our laboratories the passage from energy to matter and back from matter to energy. It's what we call
So matter is also energy.
materialization, the process of materialization.
First of all, let us understand what is matter or what is spirit. Spirit is also energy and matter is also energy. The matter, when it comes in contact with the spiritual energy, then it grows. Otherwise, it does not grow. Therefore, the growing process depends on the spirit. Take this example, my body, your body. The spirit soul, when it is in the womb of the mother, then it grows. The abdomen of the mother grows also. But if the spirit soul is not there, then it will not grow. There are many sex intercourse, but if the spirit soul is not there, the sex intercourse will not turn into pregnancy. Do you realize this?
Yes.
Then how the material body grows? Because the spirit soul is. Is there any denial?
We call in a way what
You call in any way,
information.
but the fact is this, that there is something, when in contact with that something, the matter grows, otherwise it doesn't grow. That we call spirit soul. You may call something else. That is different. You can call a different name, but matter grows not automatically. There must be in touch something with matter, then it grows. This is a fact.
And it grows by agglutination of particles.
Yeah? That may be, the composition may be. We take grossly 5 matters, gross matters, and 5 subtle matters. 5 gross matters, this earth, water, air, fire, ether, these are gross matters. And subtle matters, mind, intelligence, and ego, these are 8 different types of gross and subtle matters. But they depend on the still more subtle thing, that is soul. If the soul is there, the gross matter, this material body, it grows, the mind acts, the intelligence acts, the ego acts, and as soon as the soul is out of this body, it does not act, it decomposes and again turns into gross matter. That's all. Therefore, that spirit soul is the basic ground wherefrom the matter develops. Matter is developing, we can understand. A small child is developing, big fatty body, very fat. But in the middle, if you stop, if you drive away the spirit, it will not grow.
There is also something we should do, we do in laboratories when we study the structure of matter, that we could discover a new type of energies which could help humanity to survive. So it's not pure speculation. We don't know if it could be used. We don't know yet if what we are looking for is useful or not. But past experience has shown that humanity needs energy to live.
The energy is already there.
Fire, electricity, or some other type of energy.
Energy is already there. You are working, I am working.
Yes.
With energy. But what is that basic energy? The basic energy, that's living force, life, or the soul. When the basic energy is absent, you cannot work anymore. Finish.
I think you're speaking about energy for like running machinery, like solar energy and petrol energy, like that kind of energy.
What is the energy for this lamp? For this recorder?
Electric
For
energy.
cooking your food?
Electric energy.
Any energy you need to survive.
So energy comes from a source. It's like this electric energy is coming from the electric powerhouse. There is a resident engineer who is, how is it called? Generator. Generator, yes, generator. He is somehow or other putting the machine to go down.
Turning the generator.
Engineer.
Engineer. So electricity is being generated. So behind this energy there is the living entity, engineer. Otherwise it is useless. No more energy. If you drive away that resident engineer, the electricity will fail. No more energy.
I see that.
Yes, then you have to understand like that. So, behind this big machine which is generating electricity, there is a living being who is pushing the button.
Who organize it.
Yeah. Without that it is not possible.
It's just to put power.
Therefore, behind this big gigantic machine, physical world, there is a living entity. Big powerful living entity is God. We are simply sample of God. A small particle. Mamai vangsa jiva bhuta jiva lokasa. Just find out mamai vangsa.
Vangso jiva loke jiva bhutak sanatana manashashtani indriyani prakritishtani karshati. The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the 6 senses which include the mind.
So, we are samples of God. Small particles. Just like gold, big gold, mine, and a small particle of gold. Both of them are gold. Composition is the same. So, we the small particle of God, we are trying to create here so many things. The creative energy is there. Because we are a small particle of God, very small. So we have got so much energy. And we are planning so many things. Because on account of the creative energy. So, you can just imagine how much creative energy has got this Supreme Lord, of whom we are little sample. We are little sample only. Part and parcel, very small particles. So we are creating by our mind, manasasthani indriyani, by our senses and mind, we have so many things planning. You are also working in the laboratory with that senses and mind. But you are the creative energy. So the struggle is that we are planning to become happy within this material world. That is described here, manasasthani indriyani prakritisthani korsati. Korsati is simply struggle.
Struggle.
Struggle. You cannot do anything because the bigger creative energy is there and we are simply trying to combat with it. Therefore, uselessly we are struggling. That's all. We cannot change because the bigger creative energy is different. Prakriti, the material nature. But that's just like they are trying to create living being in the laboratory. So suppose you are trying to create living being by scientific chemical combination, so what is the credit to you? Millions of living beings are created by the material energy. What is your credit? You cannot even create a small ant up till now. So simply you are wasting your time. That's all. Therefore it is called Prakriti-sthani korsati. Just like the children are playing. What is the value of this play? They are making a howling noise, that's all. What they can do? But they are creating so many things. So you all are scientists, you are doing that thing. That's it. You cannot do anything. That is not in your power. It is very, very difficult. Physical energy which is being conducted Just like you have created this nuclear bomb, and if you take it and throw on the sun planet, what is the effect? Nuclear bomb, you can destroy something here, but what your nuclear bomb will be destroyed if you throw it on the sun. Is it not? What is your calculation? You know the sun.
If we throw, I didn't understand the word. You mean if we throw a bomb on the sun?
Yes. So what will be the effect?
What will happen?
Yes.
In the sun?
Huh?
It will burn.
Huh?
It will burn.
Which will burn? Sun will be burned or your bomb will be burned?
Or the bomb will burn.
That's it. So your teeny effort,
It's not my
this
bomb.
physical science, is nothing.
Nothing to do with that.
And that the biggest physical machine is going on. So it is simply childish play. That's
Le
the-
principe est que la plus grande machine est ici.
Ce n'est pas pour vous attaquer personnellement, c'est juste pour montrer que une étude superficielle de l'énergie sans une connaissance de la source énergétique n'est pas complet.
There is another example,
Mais
just like the glowworms. When there is darkness, you know the glowworm?
Glowworms.
Yes, they give some light.
At night.
But when there is sunrise, what is the value of this?
Les vers luisants.
hmm?
Pendant le soleil.
So your all this physical scientific advancement will be like glowworms in the presence of the scientific arrangement of God.
Well, the scientists know that science is not complete, but he tried to do it as the nearest approach he could do.
No, no,
That's
no.
all.
And it is just like the
Nobody claimed
children.
to
The
be
children are
complete.
trying to build castle on the sea beach of sand. Very busy. 2-3 hours. So long the father and mother is there, they're busy. But as soon as the father and mother goes, come on. Everything finished. So this scientific struggle is exactly like that. All childish children's play. That's what this word is used. Prakriti-sthani karsat, the living entity. They are trying to create so many things, but it is simply struggle for existence. It has no value. The same example, the children building castle, skyscraper building. They are thinking this is skyscraper building. But what is the value of it? Now, I had been in Rome. Those 2,000 years ago, they also constructed big arena, Roman arena, this temple, that temple. Now they are simply relics. Those who constructed, they are finished. And where they are gone, nobody knows. And whatever they did, that is simply relics, therefore. So when they acted on this big building, it was very important business. The same building is standing, it is useless.
A relic of a ship doesn't mean that the ship has been useless.
He
No,
said,
for the time being, it is useless, actually it is useless. But for the time being, we are taking it very useful, just like the aeroplane. It is very useful. But as soon as crashed, where is it? Whole thing is lost. But it will crash. Because everything material we are creating, just like the big buildings, they are also crushed. The end is there. Anything material, it has got beginning and it has got end. That is our point. So things which will end in due course of time, why we should waste our time in that way? And we are part and parcel of God. We have got different business. We have forgotten that. We are simply engaged in temporary castle building, which will be relics after some thousands of years. Are you not wasting our time?
There is no hand. It's only transformation.
There is
What
no
is that
what?
transformation?
You say
There is no
there
what?
is a beginning and there is a hand, but I don't call it a hand. It's just transformation.
The transformation is going on automatically. Transformation, just like from ether,
It has a shape.
there is transformation of sound. From sound there is air. From air there is fire. From fire there is water. From water there is land. That is going on. You are not doing anything. It is going on. This is the physical element. Beginning is the ether. Do you accept it or not? From ether there is sound. From sound there is air. From air there is fire. From fire there is water. From water there is land.
His point is this transformation is going on,
Yeah.
but what was one ship or one relic, now there's a new one. Is that your point? That
There is no beginning or end to the energy.
No, what I said before, I say that to say that the ship is now a relic.
That will admit there is some temporary
all the time.
use. There is some temporary use.
Yes, I agree.
So just like your body has got some temporary use.
Your
Your body is working. You are a scientist. You are working. Your work is temporary. But the soul, as soon as the soul is gone from your body will not work.
Yes, but during his life, my body has participated to a cosmic plane.
He says while the ship is existing or while the body is existing, it must be used. It has some utility.
That I admit. But you have to accept it. That is temporary.
Oh,
It is temporary.
well, it's a parcel
I
of
don't say
time.
that it is false, but it is temporary.
I agree it's temporary, but
Yes.
my work is to understand what will be the next transformation. So to transform the temporary...
You know or do not know, the transformation will take place. Take for example the ship. The ship is combination of these 5 material things, earth, water, air, fire. And when it is destroyed, it again turns into earth, water, fire. So the conservation of energy is there. You simply give a shape temporary and it goes again to the same original physical elements. This is going on. But you do not know that you are eternal. That is ignorance. So therefore the sense is that if I am eternal, then why I am busy with these temporary things? That knowledge is lacking. I am eternal. So now as human being I am busy in temporary things to construct a big ship or aeroplane. But as soon as I change this body, I become a bird, I have no power, then I manufacture a nest on the top of the tree. That is my business. Or because the body will change, that is lack of knowledge. I am eternal. In this particular body, I am busy with some temporary things. And as soon as I change my body, then another temporary thing. Suppose the big Romans, when they are Romans, they constructed all these big buildings. But if the Romans has changed into birds, they are no more interested in this body. They are interested in making some complicated nest on the top of the tree. This is going on. Life after. This knowledge is lacking. Therefore it is said, Manasasthani Indirani Prakritistha. They are struggling on this physical world by concocted mental speculation. That's all. As soon as the body is changed, then everything is changed. That they do not know. that I am changing this body and I am getting temporary engagement and wasting my time. But my problem, the change of body, death is there. The death is there. Therefore, my real problem is how to stop this death. That we want also. We do not wish to die. That is our propensity.
Are you interested to know how we produce antimatter in our laboratories? Or not?
Antimatter, I have explained that. This. So, our antimatter is different. Antimatter means spirit. But your antimatter is different.
Yes, it's just a word.
Yes.
Define something.
But we mean antimatter means there are two things, spirit and matter. So antimatter means spirit. That is our experience. It is not matter. Just like matter is destructible. Antimatter means which is not destructible. That we mean. Any matter, find out this verse, Achedyoyam, Adadyoyam, Asusha, Akleda, find out.
Achedyoyam, Adadyoyam, Akledyo Shosha Evacha, Nitya Sarva Gatas Danur, Achalo Yang Sanatana.
Yes.
This individual soul is unbreakable and insoluble, and can be neither burned nor dried. He is everlasting, all-pervading, unchangeable, immovable, and eternally the same.
Okay. So, any material thing is chedya, you can cut. Any material thing. The 5 kinds of material things, earth, water, air, we can cut it into division. Or it can be burned, it can be evaporated, or it can be moistened. These things are material things. But the spiritual means just opposite. It cannot be cut, it cannot be dried up, it cannot be moistened, so many things. And that is we mean antimatter.